Yang Yun accidentally acquired the mysterious rich system, using it to become a super rich person step by step. At the same time, he revealed many social phenomena and human truths. Chapter 1. Heavenly Descent System. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Brain Storage Area. Yang Yun, an ordinary young man, entered a small state-owned enterprise in Longhua Magic City after graduating from university. Like most young people who have just entered the workplace, he faces strict superiors and high-pressure work environments. He works wholeheartedly and hopes to make a difference in the company. Although Yang Yun works diligently, he cannot escape being squeezed. Over the course of 5 years, constantly working overtime has led to his physical condition gradually deteriorating, with high blood pressure, blood sugar, and blood lipids. From a well-proportioned college graduate to a chubby 3-tall man. On this day, Yang Yun returned home from work as usual, exhausted and lying in bed. Just as he was about to close his eyes and rest, a mysterious voice rang out in his mind. Yang Yun, do you want to change your destiny? Do you want to become a winner in life? Who's talking? What is it? Yang Yun was so frightened that he couldn't sleep at all. He looked around but didn't notice anyone. Just as Yang Yun thought he was hallucinating, the voice rang out again. Don't look for me, I'm in your mind. Answer me quickly, do you want to make a comeback and become a wealthy and handsome person? Yang Yun was stunned for a moment and then replied, of course I want to. The voice said again, so, how about I give you a big treasure? What's going on? Big baby. Are you playing a prank? Yang Yun had not yet understood what was going on, and he felt an interface appear in his mind. This interface displays his wealth value, health value, intelligence value, and other data. He saw his various numerical values listed in detail on the panel. The voice rang out again. As long as you complete the task, you can gain more wealth and rewards. You can use your wealth value to buy anything you want, including luxury homes, cars, private planes, etc. Upon hearing this, Yang Yun felt extremely unbelievable. Is this pie falling from the sky? I've been ordinary for over 20 years, so I'm the protagonist of a novel. No matter who comes up with a system out of thin air or wants to give you money, normal people will find it unbelievable. Yang Yun began to think about how he should utilize this divine power system, but as a cautious person, he still raised his doubts to the mysterious voice. What if we can't complete the task? Yang Yun asked the mysterious voice a question. The mysterious voice replied, if you are unable to complete the task, the system will not provide any rewards or punishments. You can choose to restart the task or choose another task until it is completed. On the system interface, Yang Yun can view his wealth value, health value, intelligence value, and other numerical values. These values reflect Yang Yun's current situation and ability level. Name. Yang Yun health value. 30% charm value. 10% wisdom value. 50% available cash. 50,000 yuan, is my physical condition so poor? Yang Yun gave a self-deprecating smile and said helplessly. He looked down at his stomach and couldn't help but feel a little emotional. Due to long hours of work and lack of exercise, his body has started to gain weight. Moreover, his face was a bit pale and he didn't look healthy. Yang Yun realized that he needed to change. He can no longer focus solely on work and neglect his own health like in the past. If this so-called divine luxury system can really change my current physical condition, it's not a bad thing. The mysterious voice seemed to sense his thoughts and reminded, you can improve your health by completing tasks. Each task comes with a certain reward, including an increase in health. Upon hearing the mysterious voice, Yang Yun couldn't help but feel a bit puzzled. He didn't know what this divine luxury system was, nor did he know how to complete the task. He decided to first understand this Shenhao system and see what he should do. Yang Yun began to carefully study the usage instructions of the Shenhao system. Currently, there are still many functions that indicate that they have not been unlocked, only the function of distributing tasks indicates that it has been unlocked. Yang Yun clicked into the task distribution interface, which contains detailed instructions. As long as the tasks released by the system are completed, these tasks include various challenges and activities, and each task has a certain reward, including wealth value, health value, intelligence value, etc. Ding. Task. Please clean up the garbage in the room immediately and keep the living environment clean and tidy. Task completion reward. 10,000 yuan in cash. Failure penalty. None. A reminder sound in Yang Yun's mind sounded like a task being released by an online game NPC. Although he was surprised by the task, he immediately took action, picked up a broom, and started cleaning the room. He first started cleaning from the living room. As a single dog, Yang Yun's living environment is not clean and tidy, with some dust and debris piled up on the floor, and the trash can also needs to be cleaned. He cleans every corner carefully, not leaving any piece of garbage behind. It took him about an hour to finally clean up the entire living environment. After Yang Yun completed the task, the system's prompt sound sounded in his ear. Ding. Mission completed. Reward cash of 10,000. Suddenly, Yang Yun's phone emitted a beep. He picked up his phone and saw a receipt message displayed on the screen. Curiously, he opened the message to check the details and found that 10,000 yuan had been received. What surprised Yang Yun even more was that the transferor was actually a well-known domestic financial investment company. He looked at the transfer note, which showed investment income. Although Yang Yun was a bit excited, he quickly calmed down. He knew that this money was the reward he had just received for completing the task, and he felt very excited. I didn't expect to have such a day too. Yang Yun could no longer control his inner ecstasy and burst out laughing. After all, 10,000 yuan was a huge sum of money for him. He decided to continue accepting the mission challenge of the Shenhao system. Quickly release the next task. Yang Yun said eagerly to the Shenhao system. Sorry, your task limit for the day has been reached, and there are still 10 hours left until the next task is released. Upon hearing the system's response, Yang Yun couldn't help feeling a bit disappointed. At this moment, a mysterious voice reappeared in his mind. Yang Yun, I know you're a bit disappointed at the moment. But please believe me, every task has its purpose. Alright, that's all for me. The benefits of the system are for you to slowly explore. Goodbye. Upon hearing the mysterious voice, Yang Yun's rationality quickly gained the upper hand. He began to doubt whether all of this was just a prank or a prank by some expert. After all, in this era of advanced networking, anything can happen. He shook his head, trying to calm himself down. Nevertheless, Yang Yun's mentality has changed. He began to imagine what kind of life he would lead if he really had the Shenhao system. Is it spending money like dirt or helping the needy? Is it indulging in sensuality or pursuing a higher realm? These questions lingered in his mind, preventing him from falling asleep. He simply sat up and began to carefully study the interface and functions of the Shenhao system. Anyway, Yang Yun decided to remain low-key and secretly observe this mysterious system. Chapter 2's new task is actually running. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next morning, the first thing Yang Yun did when he woke up was to check the new tasks in the Shenhao system. The system interface displays the description of the new task. Run continuously for at least half an hour each time for a month. Task completion reward. 500,000 in cash. Failure penalty. None. Upon seeing this task, Yang Yun's first reaction was surprise. He is not someone who enjoys sports, let alone running continuously for a month. However, he also knew that this task was a challenge for him, and if he could complete it, he could receive huge rewards, making a greater change in his life. Yang Yun immediately lowered his head to look at his stomach. After years of being devastated by the 996 blessings, his blood pressure, blood sugar, and blood lipids were all high. It was not easy to complete this task, especially for someone like him who usually lacks exercise. It was quite difficult. For this 500,000 yuan, even if you work hard, give it a try. A huge reward of 500,000 yuan is full of great temptation for anyone, let alone young people like Yang Yun. Although 500,000 yuan cannot buy a house in SH City, it is undoubtedly a huge sum of money for Yang Yun. We need to plan carefully, otherwise we won't be able to complete the task. Yang Yun opened a certain software and browsed through various precautions about running. For a chubby person, blindly running can cause great harm to their body. Oh no, I'm going to be late for work. I can't be late, otherwise the manager will deduct performance again. Yang Yun looked at the time on the wall and found that it was almost work time. He hurriedly searched for clothes to wear. Damn it, why can't I always find clothes? Yang Yun muttered, his stomach appearing even more prominent in the morning sunlight. At a height of 1.78, his weight has exceeded the healthy range, making his daily life full of small challenges. Finally, in the wardrobe, he found his work clothes and hurriedly put them on. Without finishing, he rushed to the door. As he ran, he thought that the reward for this task must be used to improve his living conditions. Perhaps he could enroll in a fitness class or find a nutritionist to help him restore a healthy figure. Yang Yun rushed to the company gate, panting heavily, and looked at his watch, which happened to be stuck at work. He breathed a sigh of relief and secretly felt relieved. Fortunately, I wasn't late, otherwise my performance would have been deducted by the manager again. He walked into the company gate and felt a familiar yet dull atmosphere. Yang Yun's company is a state-owned enterprise, but not a top-tier large enterprise, but a so-called grandchild state-owned enterprise. Although in the eyes of outsiders, state-owned enterprises mean stable jobs and relatively good treatment, the actual situation is not so. In this grandchild state-owned enterprise, employees face various challenges and pressures. The promotion opportunities are limited, and the benefits are not satisfactory. Although the company has the reputation of a state-owned enterprise, in highly competitive industries, employees often need to put in more effort to maintain their positions. Ding, release side quests. Work hard all day. Task completion reward. 20,000 in cash. Failure penalty. None. Before Yang Yun could reach his workstation, he heard the system release a new branch task. Seeing this task, Yang Yun felt a bit speechless. Isn't this the system created by Dad Ma? Is this to build oneself into the strongest worker? Although Yang Yun was not clear about the significance of this task, he saw the reward. Instantly, the power is full again. He walked up to his desk, tidied up his desk, and started the day's work. Although the work is boring, Yang Yun still fulfills every task with diligence and responsibility. Lunch time has arrived. Yang Yun and his colleagues went to the cafeteria to have a meal together. The food in the cafeteria is average, without any delicious dishes, but the prices are not cheap. This made Yang Yun feel a bit helpless, as his salary was not high and he had to spend a lot of money every month on meals. After finishing his meal, Yang Yun returned to the office and continued working. The afternoon work was still very busy, but Yang Yun didn't complain anything. What is this work worth in order to reward the system with 20,000 yuan? The task released by the Shenhao system may not be very difficult, but it is also an opportunity for him to change his life. Yang Yun looked at the clock in the bottom right corner of the computer screen and finally made it to the end of work time. He breathed a sigh of relief, as if his tired body had been liberated. The whole day's work exhausted him, but he still mustered up his energy and prepared to go home. He stood up, stretched lazily, and felt a pain coming from his waist. The prolonged sitting position made his waist and neck feel uncomfortable, but he has become accustomed to this pain. Yang Yun looked at the interface of the Shenhao system and found that today's task had been completed. He received a considerable reward and also glanced at his current value. Name: Yang Yun. Health value: 30% charm value, 10% wisdom value, 50% available cash. 80,000 yuan. Yang Yun watched the digital changes on the interface of the Shenhao system, almost jumping with excitement. In just one day, he increased his available wealth by 30,000 by completing tasks, which is more than his salary. We need to prepare the equipment for tonight's night run. Yang Yun is usually a fat house, where would he have any sports equipment? On his way home, he specifically walked into a sports goods store, preparing to purchase some running equipment. The sports equipment in the store is dazzling, making Yang Yun dizzy. He was not sure what he needed, so he consulted the salesperson. The salesperson warmly introduced him to some running equipment suitable for beginners, including lightweight and breathable sportswear, professional running shoes, and sweat-absorbing sports towels. Yang Yun carefully selected a suitable set of sportswear and tried it on, feeling comfortable and lightweight. Then, he chose a pair of running shoes that suited his foot shape and running needs. The salesperson patiently recommended suitable styles for him and helped him adjust the tightness of the shoelaces. Finally, Yang Yun also purchased a sweat-absorbing sports towel and a small sports waist bag to hold essential items such as a phone and keys. Yang Yun's chosen running location is a nearby park, where the environment is beautiful and the air is fresh, making it suitable for running. When Yang Yun started running, he felt a bit tired. His body is not adapted to this high-intensity exercise, and he started panting shortly after running. Half an hour of running feels like a long battle for Yang Yun. His clothes were soaked through, and sweat flowed down his cheeks. He ran step by step, silently reciting numbers and calculating time in his heart. When he finally finished running for half an hour, he felt a sense of achievement that he had never experienced before. What a torture! Running is a great challenge for someone like him who sits for a long time without exercising. He didn't try running long distances or at high speeds from the beginning, but instead maintained a moderate speed to gradually adapt his body to the rhythm and intensity of running. However, even so, it is extremely difficult for Yang Yun to complete. Yang Yun understands that completing this task is not easy and requires a lot of effort and sweat. However, he was also aware of the importance of this task, and the reward of 500,000 yuan was too tempting for him. In the following days, during the day, Yang Yun remained busy working in the company as usual. But after work, he no longer indulged in television and games, but changed into sports equipment, walked out of the house, and began daily running training. Yang Yun found that apart from releasing a side task on the first day, the Shenhao system has never released any more tasks. He has some doubts, but he is not overly conflicted. After running continuously for a week, Yang Yun's body gradually adapted to this intensity of exercise, and running became more and more relaxed. After each run, although Yang Yun would be panting, he gradually adapted to the intensity of the running. Chapter 3. First check-in reward. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hoo. In the park, there is a figure slowly running, and this figure is Yang Yun. Yang Yun has developed a habit of running every day. His steps are steady and strong, and his breathing is even and strong. Obviously, he has gradually mastered the techniques and rhythm of running. He ran around the park runway circle after circle. After 2 consecutive weeks of running training, Yang Yun's physical condition has greatly improved. He lost 3.5 kilograms of weight and his face became more rosy and radiant. Every time Yang Yun finishes his run, although he still feels a bit tired, the feeling of fatigue is no longer agony, but a sense of satisfaction and achievement. Just as Yang Yun was delighted with his progress, the Shenhao system released a new branch task. Go to the entrance of the park to clock in. Task completion reward: 50,000 in cash. Failure penalty: none. This task surprised Yang Yun a bit, as he had not encountered any side quests in a long time. He carefully looked at the system panel, and a clock-in button appeared on the panel. Check in at the entrance of the park. It's just too easy. Yang Yun adjusted his breathing and pace, accelerated his pace, and ran towards the entrance of the park. Quickly, Yang Yun ran to the entrance of the park, walked over, and clicked the clock-in button on the system panel. Just hear a beep, the system prompts the sound to sound, indicating successful check.in. Complete the task. Reward 50,000 in cash. Yang Yun looked at the rewards in the system with joy in his heart. He knew that it was the result of his own efforts and persistence, and immediately looked at his panel values. Name. Yang Yun Health Value. 45% Charm Value. 10% Wisdom Value. 50% Available Cash. 130,000 yuan. After 2 weeks of running exercise, Yang Yun's efforts finally paid off significantly. His health value has increased by 15% to 45%. Yang Yun looked at his system panel with satisfaction in his heart. He knows that this 15% increase means that his physical condition has greatly improved. In the past 2 weeks, he has been running on the park track without interruption. He has mastered the correct running posture and breathing methods, and also learned how to adjust his rhythm and speed. It's already 130,000 yuan, one step closer to buying a house in SH City. Everyone wants to buy a house in SH City, and Yang Yun is no exception, but the extremely high housing prices make him hesitate. Whenever he walks on the bustling streets and looks at the towering buildings and brightly lit night scenes, he imagines what his life here would be like. He works hard for a month, but can't earn a single square meter of money. However, the emergence of the Shenhao system has made everything possible. As long as he can complete the tasks he posted, buying a house in SH City will no longer be a dream. Even luxury cars and private planes have become within reach. Thinking of this, Yang Yun seemed to become more motivated and began to plan his own future. After completing the task of running continuously for a month, I resigned. Now that he has the Shenhao system, Yang Yun will not choose to continue working as a 996 worker. For him, with this system, he has more possibilities and opportunities, as well as greater dreams and pursuits. In half a month, I will complete the task, and then my cash will reach 630,000 yuan. When the time comes, I will transfer some information to my parents. My younger sister will take the college entrance examination in 2 years, and the girl cannot afford to live on too little when she goes to college. Yang Yun thought to himself that his parents have always been his most solid support and supporter, and now that he has the ability, he also wants to do something for them. At the same time, he doesn't want his sister to be troubled by the issue of living expenses, and going to college is very important for a person. Let's complete the task first, and then tell my parents that I made some money from stock trading, so it's not difficult to fool them. With this in mind, Yang Yun finished his exercise today and returned to the rental house. He briefly washed up and sat quietly by the window, watching this small cramped house. If it weren't for the emergence of the Shenhao system, perhaps he would continue to spend countless days and nights here, squeezing the bus every day and working hard for a meager salary. Buying a house. That was just an unattainable dream in his past life in SH City, he couldn't even think about it. However, now everything has changed. The emergence of the Shenhao system has given him the possibility to realize his dream. As long as he can complete the system's tasks, buying a house in SH City will no longer be a dream. This idea made him feel both excited and uneasy. After all, it all came too suddenly and unexpectedly. Why did you choose me? I'm just an ordinary person, maybe I'll find the answer in the future. Yang Yun asked himself, but couldn't find the answer. He was just an ordinary person, without a prominent family background, outstanding talent, and extraordinary wisdom. He is just an ordinary person who works hard to make a living in this big city. However, the emergence of the Shenhao system has given him the possibility to achieve his dreams. This mysterious system seems like a towering deity, generously bestowing infinite opportunities and wealth upon him. Yang Yun didn't understand why such a good thing would happen to him. Yang Yun shook his head and threw these doubts out of his mind. He didn't want to continue exploring the reasons behind it. The Shenhao system was a life-saving straw for him and an opportunity to break away from the current class. He didn't want to miss this opportunity because he knew that once he missed it, it might never happen again. Afterwards, the system should issue more tasks and the rewards will become increasingly generous. Do I want to be a wealthy person who just fools around and waits for death, or do I want to do things that I didn't dare to think of before? Yang Yun muttered to himself, filled with anticipation and doubt in his heart. He knew that if he continued to complete the task, he would become increasingly wealthy. But if he chooses to do things he didn't dare to think about before, he will face countless challenges and difficulties. Is this life really worth it? Yang Yun fell into contemplation, his heart filled with contradictions and struggles. Forget it, why do you think so much? When the boat reaches the bridge, it will naturally straighten out. Yang Yun decided not to think recklessly anymore. He knew that excessive thinking would only lead him into endless entanglements and contradictions. He took a deep breath and temporarily suppressed the doubts and anxieties in his heart. I don't know what the next task of the system is. It feels like everything revolves around my daily life. Yang Yun began to recall his daily life, trying to find some clues from it. He wakes up every morning, goes to work after washing up, and eats, watches TV, and goes to bed when he comes home in the evening. Mind him, as long as the money is in place, the simpler the task, the better. I won't be able to complete it if it's too complicated. Yang Yun knows that the tasks of the system are not arbitrarily issued, but are formulated based on his daily life and situation. This surprised him a bit, but also found it very interesting. Chapter 4. Resignation from Work. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding. Task. Run continuously for at least half an hour each time for a month. Completed, reward 500,000 in cash. The sound of the system resounded in Yang Yun's mind upon hearing the system prompt. Yang Yun took a deep breath and a tired but satisfied smile appeared on his face. He looked at his system panel and said softly. Finally, a month has passed. This half-hour run every day has become an indispensable part of my life. Yang Yun stood on the runway of the park, looking around. The gentle breeze blew away the sweat from his body. At this moment, he felt incredibly relaxed and at ease. A month of persistence has brought such returns. So, what challenges and tasks will I face next? Yang Yun muttered to himself, knowing that the tasks given by the Shenhao system are not random, but closely related to his daily life and situation. This made him both curious and somewhat hopeful. Go resign tomorrow, there's no need to work anymore. Name. Yang Yun. Health value. 70% charm value. 30% wisdom value. 60% available cash. 630,000 yuan. Yang Yun looked at the system panel again, took a deep breath, and then slowly exhaled. He knows that owning this wealth means he will have more choices and opportunities. Although money may not be enough to ensure his livelihood for the rest of his life, it is one step closer to his dream of buying a house in SH City. Yang Yun recalled the days when he worked overtime until late at night and worked tirelessly for a project. He knows that after tonight, all of this will become a thing of the past, and he will usher in a new life. Yang Yun stood up, stretched lazily, ready to go home and rest for a good night. Tomorrow will be a brand new day and an important turning point in his life. He looks forward to everything in the future, no matter how many difficulties and challenges lie ahead, he has enough courage and confidence to face them, which is the confidence given by the Shenhao system. Yang Yun returned to the small snail house and took a comfortable bath. He stood in front of the mirror, carefully observing his changes. He used to be a fat man weighing over 180 pounds, but after a month of exercise, he has successfully lost over 30 pounds. Now, his figure has become more symmetrical, and his muscle lines have become clear and visible. His skin has become rosy and shiny due to regular exercise, making him look healthier and more energetic. All of this is worth it. Yang Yun whispered to himself, filled with pride and satisfaction in his heart. He knew that this achievement was the result of his hard work and perseverance. By the way, let's transfer some money to my parents. After working for so long, I haven't really transferred money back home yet. Yang Yun felt a bit ashamed when he thought of this, but now that he also has a considerable wealth, he felt it was time to make some changes. Yang Yun immediately picked up his phone, opened the bank app, and began to transfer money to his home. After confirming that the transfer information was correct, he pressed the confirm button. Transfer successful. Looking at the prompt page on his phone, he felt a sense of relief and satisfaction, as if he had put down a heavy burden. He knew that this was just the beginning. A pleasant bell rang, and Yang Yun picked up his phone. It showed that it was his father's call. Yang Yun took a deep breath and answered the phone. Hello, Dad. Son, I just received a message from the bank that you transferred 100,000 yuan to me. What's going on? Where did you get so much money? My father's voice sounded a bit excited. As his father, he understood his son's income. In the big city of SH, there is not enough money to spend, so how could there be savings? Yang Yun didn't want his father to worry too much, so he immediately spoke up and said, Dad, don't worry, this is the money I've made from my recent stock trading. I think we should give you and Mom some share, so I transferred 100,000 yuan. After a moment of silence, the father said, Son, I know it's not easy for you to be outside. But we don't need your money. As long as you live well, we can rest assured. You can keep this money for your own use. Yang Yun's heart warmed, but he knew that if he didn't explain clearly, his father might have been worried all the time. Then he comforted him, Dad, it's really nothing. I'm also lucky, and I made some money. You and your mother should take it, just as a token of my appreciation to you. My sister will have to take the college entrance examination in 2 years, and will need money to go to college later. Father sighed and said, All right, since you're saying that, let's accept it. But you must remember that work is the most important thing, and don't let stock trading affect your work. Also, you're already big, it's time to consider finding a girlfriend. Yang Yun smiled and said, Dad, don't worry, I know the right balance. As for my girlfriend, I will work hard. The two of them chatted a few more casual conversations, then hung up the phone. Soon, Yang Yun fell into a deep sleep. The next day, Yang Yun arrived at the company very early. Have you made up your mind? Are you really going to resign? Yang Yun, have you encountered any difficulties or dissatisfaction? Do you know that you have always been an excellent employee of our company, and I really don't want you to leave like this. Manager Chen looked at Yang Yun with confusion, his brows furrowed, trying to keep the nuclear-powered donkey employee. Immediately, a big cake was drawn. Yang Yun, can you tell me the reason? Maybe we can find a solution together. You know, the company has always valued you, and we also hope that you can stay. Next year, our company is planning to appoint a group of deputy middle managers, and you are on the list. Yang Yun stood in Manager Chen's office, listening to him talk incessantly about the company's future development plans and Yang Yun's future promotion prospects. Where didn't Yang Yun know that this boss was plotting a big picture and promotion? Don't even think about it. Manager Chen spoke in a flurry, but Yang Yun only listened quietly with no expression on his face. However, as time passed, Yang Yun gradually became impatient. Manager Chen didn't seem to notice Yang Yun's impatience and continued to speak on his own. So, you must seize this promotion opportunity well. I believe that as long as you work hard, you will definitely gain something. After Manager Chen finally finished speaking, Yang Yun slowly spoke up and said, Manager Chen, I understand your kindness. However, I think it's better for me to resign. Yang Yun, what do you mean? Didn't you hear what I just said to you? Manager Chen was taken aback and said with some displeasure. Yang Yun remained silent for a moment before slowly speaking, Manager Chen, my house has been demolished recently, and I need to go back and deal with some things. Moreover, I also want to use this time to think about my future. So, I don't want to do it anymore. Manager Chen was taken aback for a moment and then said helplessly, I see. Since you have already made a decision, I won't say anything more. I can only wish you all the best in the future. You can submit your resignation application and hand over the work to Xiaowo. Okay, no problem, thank you for the company's cultivation of me over the years. After speaking, Yang Yun walked straight to the door and opened the office door. Then he walked out of the manager's office without looking back. Chapter 5. Handover work is also a task. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just as Yang Yun walked out of the office, the system heard the sound of task release. Ding, trigger the branch line, release the branch task. Please smoothly hand over the work. Task completion reward. 1 million in cash. Failure penalty. None. Yang Yun was taken aback and immediately realized that this was a task released by the Shenhao system. He felt a burst of joy in his heart, as it seemed that the decision to resign this time was correct, and the system rushed to send him money again. He looked at the task content and it was a smooth handover of work to Xiaowo. Although this task sounds simple, Yang Yun knows that handing over work is not an easy task and requires careful explanation and demonstration. Yang Yun returned to his workstation and saw that Xiaowo was already sitting there waiting. Obviously, Manager Chen has informed him that he needs to hand over the work to Yang Yun. He nodded to Xiaowo, indicating that he has started the handover. Xiaowo, the main task I need to hand over to you this time is the project I am responsible for. Yang Yun began to explain carefully. Firstly, you need to understand the overall situation of the project, including its goals, progress, and existing problems. Xiaowo listened attentively, nodding occasionally to show understanding. Yang Yun also patiently explained that handing over work is not just about telling the other party what to do, but more importantly, it is about making them understand why to do it. Next, Yang Yun began to demonstrate some specific operations. He opened his computer and let Xiaowo watch how he operated the software, viewed data, and so on. Xiaowo is also studying very seriously and asks questions promptly when he encounters any questions he doesn't understand. During the handover process, they also encountered some problems. For example, Xiaowo is not very familiar with certain operations and needs Yang Yun to demonstrate them several times. However, Yang Yun did not show any impatience. On the contrary, he patiently demonstrated over and over again until Xiaowo fully understood. Brother Yang, are you really leaving the company? Xiaowo suddenly asked. Yang Yun nodded and said, yes, I have already made a decision. Xiaowo asked somewhat puzzled, but I think you're doing well here. Why are you leaving? What a ghost, the path to promotion is stuck, with only unfinished work and endless blame to bear every day. Yang Yun looked at Xiaowo and chuckled inwardly. Then Yang Yun sighed and shook his head gently, well, I've made a decision. In fact, there are some things you will gradually understand in the future. But now, all you need to do is do your job well and maintain an attitude of learning and progress. Xiaowo didn't seem to fully understand Yang Yun's words, but he nodded and said, okay, I will work hard. Yang, do you have any plans in the future? Let's play for a while first. These past few years have been too tiring, we need to rest for a while. Yang Yun pretended to be somewhat helpless and said. After hearing this, Xiaowo said with some emotion, Brother Yang, I really admire you. You have such courage and determination. It's so difficult to find a job now, and with such good treatment in our company, there's no other one. Yang Yun smiled bitterly in his heart, but he still patted Xiao Su's shoulder and said, "Thank you for your trust and support. Let's get in touch again when we have the opportunity in the future." Yang Yun and Xiao Su progressed very smoothly during the handover of work. After all, Xiao Su is a hardworking and eager-to-learn newcomer, and Yang Yun is also a conscientious mentor, so the cooperation between the two is very pleasant. Not long after, Xiao Su got started and made an example file according to Yang Yun's requirements. Yang Yun took the folder, casually flipped through it for a few moments, nodded, and said, "Not bad, you did a great job. It seems that you have gradually gotten started." After hearing this, Xiao Su's face showed a proud smile and said, "It's all Yang, you taught me well, otherwise I wouldn't have done it so well." Yang Yun also smiled and said, "Actually, you are already very smart. As long as you work hard to learn and practice, you will definitely achieve something." Just as Yang Yun and Xiao Su were chatting, a beautiful young woman walked into the office. She was Ding Hui, Yang Yun's colleague on the same level. Liang Hui has a tall and graceful figure, with slender legs and a sexy figure that has attracted the attention of many people. She has a charming face, fair skin, and long black hair, which makes people yearn to see her. "Yang Yun, I heard you're leaving." Liang Hui walked up to Yang Yun and asked with a hint of doubt. Yang Yun nodded and replied, "Yes, Sister Liang, I plan to leave the company." Liang Hui was somewhat surprised and said, "Really? But you did a great job, why did you leave?" Yang Yun smiled and said, "Actually, I think it's time to look for some new challenges and opportunities." Yang Yun, who has already resigned, now possesses the Shenhao system and has become confident and composed, so he boldly flirts with the young woman in front of him. "Sister Liang, you are becoming more and more beautiful now, and your figure is also becoming more and more sexy," Yang Yun said with a smile. After hearing this, Liang Hui smiled coquettishly and said, Yang Yun, why has your little mouth become so sweet? I never noticed before that you speak so well." Then, she carefully looked at Yang Yun and said in surprise, You seem to have lost a lot of weight, and your complexion and skin have also improved a lot. You look much more handsome." Yang Yun smiled awkwardly and said, "Really? I've been paying attention to exercising and taking care of my skin lately, and it seems that the effect is quite good." Liang Hui nodded and exclaimed, "It seems that your efforts have not been in vain. You look really charming now." Yang Yun and Liang Hui chatted and exchanged ideas for a while. Yang Yun politely thanked Liang Hui and said to her, "I have the opportunity to treat you to dinner as a way to thank you for your help." Liang Hui didn't take it seriously either. After agreeing, she smiled and walked out of the office. After handing over the work, Yang Yun finally instructed Xiao Su to pay attention to some precautions. He silently tidied up his things and prepared to leave the company. He picked up his backpack, took a deep breath, and slowly walked out of the office. As soon as Yang Yun walked out of the door, he heard the sound coming from the system in his mind. Task completed. A cash reward of 1 million has been issued. Immediately, Yang Yun opened his own numerical panel. Name: Yang Yun. Health value 70%, charm value 30%, wisdom value 60%, available cash 1.53 million. Yang Yun looked at the numerical panel and smiled slightly, his heart filled with joy. This 1 million reward has doubled his available wealth, and now he has 1.53 million available wealth. He felt a sense of satisfaction and joy that he had never experienced before, and money was indeed a man's greatest confidence. What should we do with this money first? Chapter 6. Buying a car. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just as Yang Yun was hesitating about how to spend the cash reward he received, the system suddenly released a new task. Ding! Purchase a car priced at over 1 million yuan, regardless of brand. Task completion reward: 3 million in cash. Failure penalty: none. Yang Yun was slightly taken aback. He didn't expect the system to release such a task. He quickly made a decision and started searching for suitable car models through his phone. He did not choose those overly luxurious sports cars, but instead chose a luxury sedan with both quality and practicality. After investigation and comparison, Yang Yun ultimately chose a top-of-the-line BMW 7 Series sedan. This sedan is outstanding in all aspects, not only with excellent performance and comfort, but also with very high safety performance and brand value. In order to complete the car purchase task as soon as possible, Yang Yun began searching for 4S stores. He searched online and finally found a BMW 4S store located in the city center. Soon, Yang Yun arrived at the BMW 4S dealership and was attracted by the various luxury cars displayed in the showroom. He walked to the display area of the BMW 7 Series sedan and carefully observed the exterior and interior of the car. The salesperson warmly welcomed a customer upon seeing their doorstep. "Hello, sir. Are you interested in this BMW 7 Series sedan?" salesperson Su Yuanyuan asked. Yang Yun looked up and saw Su Yuanyuan with long hair draped over her shoulders, a delicate face, and her eyes sparkling with agility. Her figure is slim and symmetrical, wearing a fitted professional outfit that appears more elegant and confident. Yang Yun nodded slightly and then said, "I would like to know more about this car. If the price is reasonable in all aspects, I will buy it." Despite Yang Yun's ordinary attire, Su Yuanyuan did not neglect him and still warmly introduced the vehicle to him. She provided a detailed explanation of the vehicle's performance, configuration, and price, as well as some professional car buying advice for Yang Yun. After Su Yuanyuan's detailed introduction, Yang Yun gained a deep understanding of this BMW 7 Series sedan. He nodded satisfactorily and decided to purchase this car. Without hesitation, Yang Yun said to Su Yuanyuan, "I choose to buy the car in full." His decision surprised Su Yuanyuan a bit, but Yang Yun could see that she was trying her best to control her emotions. Su Yuanyuan tried to maintain a professional tone and said, "Okay, Mr. Yang, I will go and handle the relevant procedures for you right away. Do you need me to explain some details to you?" Yang Yun waved his hand and said, "No need, I believe in your professional ability. Just handle it directly." Su Yuanyuan took out her phone and smiled at Yang Yun, saying, "Thank you, Mr. Yang, for your affirmation. If it's convenient, we can add a WeChat account. If you have any questions or need after-sales service about this car in the future, please feel free to contact me at any time." Yang Yun agreed, and they scanned each other's WeChat and successfully added each other. With the help of Su Yuanyuan, Yang Yun quickly completed the payment of 1.25 million yuan and also gave him some exquisite car gifts. A simple delivery ceremony is being held at the 4S store. Su Yuanyuan handed the key to the brand new BMW 7 Series sedan to Yang Yun. Yang Yun took the key and the system heard a prompt to complete the task. Ding, purchase a car for over 1 million yuan, no brand restrictions. Completed, task reward. 3 million in cash. Upon hearing the system prompt, Yang Yun opened his own numerical panel. Name. Yang Yun, health value. 70% charm value. 30% wisdom value. 60% available cash. 3.3 million inch. After completing the task of buying a car with the car, Yang Yun's wealth reached 3.3 million. Yang Yun almost couldn't help feeling happy, but he didn't show it when he was still at the 4S store. Subsequently, Yang Yun launched his newly purchased BMW and drove out of the 4S dealership. He felt the smooth and powerful power of the vehicle, and his heart was filled with joy. He recalled his past life. At that time, such a luxury car was in existence that he couldn't even imagine, and could only watch and envy from a distance. But now, he can drive such a car on the streets of the city, enjoying the feeling of speed and lightning. All these changes stem from the mysterious divine system, which injects infinite possibilities and opportunities into Yang Yun's life. Through this system, he was able to complete various tasks, receive generous rewards, and gradually accumulate his wealth. Yang Yun drove for about half an hour before the system released a new task. Ding! Spend over 2 million yuan in any mall. Task completion reward. 5 million in cash. Failure penalty. None. Yang Yun was slightly surprised when he saw the task, but more excited. After all, the reward after completing the task is 5 million in cash, which means his wealth will increase again. It's easy to get the money, just like the strong wind. The system is really awesome. Without much hesitation, Yang Yun drove to the nearest large shopping center. As he walked into the mall, he was immediately attracted by a dazzling array of products and a bustling crowd. Yang Yun didn't think much and headed straight to a high-end watch store. He knows that this mission requires him to spend over 2 million yuan, and purchasing a high-end watch is undoubtedly one of the fastest ways. Yang Yun walked into the Tianxia specialty store, looked around, and finally his gaze fell on a Tianxia watch worth 890,000 yuan. Although he is dressed in ordinary clothes, his demeanor is calm and composed. Shop assistant Wang Yiran is an experienced and proficient sales representative. She saw Yang Yun's interest in watches and took the initiative to approach, smiling and asking, "Sir, hello. Do you need me to introduce you to you?" Yang Yun nodded and said, "I am quite interested in this watch. Can you give me a detailed understanding?" Wang Yiran professionally introduced the characteristics, craftsmanship, and historical background of this watch, and also recommended several other suitable watches based on Yang Yun's needs and budget. During the introduction process, Yang Yun occasionally asked some questions, and Wang Yiran was able to answer them quickly and accurately. The conversation between the two was very pleasant and smooth, as if it were an exchange between old friends. In the end, Yang Yun didn't hesitate too much and he swiped his card. Wang Yiran issued an invoice and warranty for him, and she gently put on the watch with her own hands to ensure that it fits perfectly on Yang Yun's wrist. "Sir, congratulations on purchasing this Tianxia Cross the Sea series watch. If you have any questions or need help, please feel free to contact us at any time." Without much delay, Yang Yun and Wang Yiran exchanged WeChat messages and hurried to the next store. He is still 1.11 million yuan away from completing the task, so he must seize the time to consume in order to complete the task as soon as possible. Wang Yiran smiled and escorted Yang Yun away from the specialty store. Chapter 7. Lost Self. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yang Yun continued to stroll in the mall, while he went to several other luxury stores. At a Rolex watch store, under the enthusiastic introduction of sales. After selecting 2 watches, he waved his hand and said to the beautiful salesperson, "Wrap them all up." Yang Yun walked out of Rolex watch store, holding several exquisite watch cases in his hand, filled with satisfaction in his heart. However, he looked at his attire and felt that it didn't match well. So he decided to go to other stores to buy a few sets of expensive clothes. Yang Yun walked into Givenchy's specialty store, and the staff immediately warmly welcomed him. After all, Yang Yun held several Rolex watch cases in his hand, and he even carried Tianxia. The employees of luxury stores had a lot of experience. One of the salespeople smiled and said, "Sir, welcome to Givenchy. Is there anything I can do for you?" Yang Yun looked around the store and said, "How many sets of clothes would you like to choose? Can you recommend them to me based on my body shape?" The salesperson was very pleased to introduce Yang Yun, including details on materials, design, and matching. Yang Yun selected several popular matching styles at the moment. The salesperson exclaimed, "Your taste is really good. These are the most popular styles in our store. Is this the magic of money? Everyone is flattering you." Yang Yun enjoyed the admiration and felt proud in his heart. He then said to the clerk, "Wrap all these up, I'll take them all." The clerk looked at Yang Yun in surprise, then quickly regained his professional attitude and began packing his clothes. She exclaimed while packaging, "Mr. Yang, we rarely see customers with taste like you." Of course, Yang Yun knew that the salesperson's praise was just a polite remark, but he still smiled and didn't say anything. After selecting clothes, he chose one of them to wear on his body. This set of clothes perfectly fitted his figure, and the salesperson couldn't help but express sincere praise again. Quickly, the salesperson helped Yang Yun pack his other clothes. Yang Yun made an agreement with them to take them away when he left the mall, and then left the Givenchy specialty store. Yang Yun looked at the system and saw that there was still 700,000 left to complete the task. He sighed. "I didn't expect that I would also have too much money to spend and worry about it." After all, Yang Yun has only been in the system for a month and has not fully adapted to the life of this wealthy person. He recalled his life a month ago, when he was still an ordinary clerk, working hard every day to make a living. Now, you can buy whatever you want as you please. This transformation caught him off guard. He looked down at his precious clothing and watch, and suddenly felt like a nouveau riche. Although he had wealth, he lacked the temperament to match it. Should I enroll in a class to improve myself? Yang Yun decided to sign up for a temperament training class to systematically learn various aspects of etiquette and cultivation. He hopes that through such training, he can face various situations more elegantly and calmly, no longer feeling at a loss like a nouveau riche. He then takes out his phone and starts searching for information on various temperament training courses online. Yang Yun found that there are many temperament training courses available on the market for high-end consumers, covering various aspects such as behavior, speech, dress, and art appreciation. These courses not only teach students how to showcase themselves externally, but also place greater emphasis on cultivating their inner cultivation and qualities. Now complete the task first, there will be plenty of time to do other things in the future. Yang Yun took a deep breath and decided to focus his attention on completing system tasks first. After all, this is currently his main goal, and the rewards are generous. As for improving one's temperament and cultivation, it is a long-term task that requires time and patience, not in a hurry. Yang Yun continued to stroll inside the mall. He walked into a high-end jewelry store and was warmly welcomed by the staff, introducing him to various precious gemstones and jewelry. Yang Yun carefully selected a few items and quickly paid the bill before leaving. So, he strolled house after house, buying whatever he liked and picking out expensive ones. His shopping bags are getting more and more. In the end, when his spending amount reached 2 million, the system sent a message to complete the task, and the reward cash had also been received. Yang Yun looked at his own values in the system panel and felt like he was dreaming. Name: Yang Yun. Health value 70%, charm value 50%, wisdom value 60%, available cash 6. 3 million. Yang Yun sat quietly in the car, watching the changes in his numerical values. He noticed that with the skyrocketing amount of money, his charm value also significantly increased. This surprised him a bit, but it was also expected. After all, in this world, money often brings a lot of added value, including the respect and envy of others. Just before Yang Yun could react, the system beeped again. Ding! Achieved a consumption of 3 million yuan. Reward cash 10 million yuan. Yang Yun was taken aback for a moment. Before he could digest the joy of just increasing his charm, his wealth skyrocketed by another 10 million. This change caught him off guard. Yang Yun took a deep breath, trying to calm his excitement. He knew that although these wealth came suddenly, there was no doubt about the power of the Shenhao system, so there was no need to worry about the risk of large amounts of unclear funding sources. At the same time, he also felt a deep shock and awe, knowing that these treasures had exceeded his previous imagination and cognition. After all, for so many years, Yang Yun has been a nobody and suddenly received a large sum of money. He is a bit anxious and needs some time to digest it. Find a time to calm down and read more movies and books that describe the lives of wealthy individuals. He decided to find a time to settle down and hope to better understand and adapt to his new life by observing and learning from the experiences and stories of others. Yang Yun gave a self-deprecating smile. It seems that the protagonist in the novel, after receiving a large windfall, suddenly becomes afraid of his hands and feet. Yang Yun understands that he is different from the omnipotent protagonists in novels. He is a real person who needs time to adapt, think, and plan when faced with sudden wealth. He cannot blindly squander, nor can he lose himself. He needs to find his own direction. Yang Yun felt a bit tired and immediately drove back to his small dwelling. He looked at the familiar room and felt a sense of stability in his heart. In this small space, he found his own peace and tranquility. Let's go buy a house tomorrow and say goodbye to this place. Chapter 8. Is this also a task? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sun Tzu, it's time for you to get up and go to work. As the alarm on his phone rang, Yang Yun suddenly opened his eyes. He glanced at the time on his phone and found that it was almost time for work. Oh no, I'm going to be late for work. Just as Yang Yun was about to get up in bed and get dressed, he remembered that he had resigned yesterday. It seems that I was born to be a worker, and I forgot that I am also a systematic person. I actually want to go to work. Yang Yun smiled self-deprecatingly, shook his head, and got up from the bed. He glanced out the window, the sunshine was bright and it was a good day. Today, he is going to buy a house. Yang Yun walked into the bathroom and began to wash up. While brushing his teeth, he opened his own panel in the system and started to check name. Yang Yun health value. 70% charm value. 50% wisdom value. 60% available cash. 16.3 million inch. Yesterday's system achievement reward directly skyrocketed Yang Yun's personal wealth to 16.3 million yuan. With this over 10 million yuan, even in a metropolis like SH, he can easily buy a house. Thinking of this, Yang Yun couldn't help but get excited. After all, buying a house was once unattainable for him, but now it has been easily realized. Yang Yun decided to buy a house located in the city center. Since he was not short of money, he didn't consider anything bad about the suburbs or the location. It was all a godly luxury, and who would have wronged him? After searching and comparing online, Yang Yun will ultimately target a high-end residential area located in the center of SH City. Yang Yun checked the average price of surrounding properties, which is around 120,000 yuan per square meter. This price is also considered the top tier in SH City. He checked the map and surrounding environment of the community and found that it has a superior geographical location and convenient transportation. There are many shopping malls and restaurants around, making life very convenient. After finding the target, Yang Yun didn't think much and drove directly to the sales department, quickly arriving at the destination. When Yang Yun stepped into the sales hall, there was no scene in the novel where the sales lady looked down on people. Moreover, his attire is so expensive that even discerning people can tell, not to mention the famous Jiangshi Danton watch he is wearing. A beautiful sales lady walked towards Yang Yun with a smile on her face, and she started paying attention to him as he entered the sales hall. The girl is wearing a fitted professional outfit, with long hair draped over her shoulders and a sweet smile. Her skin is fair and delicate, with an elegant temperament. She took the initiative to approach and warmly asked, "Hello, I am Jiang Yin, the sales manager of the sales department. Are you here to see the house?" Yang Yun nodded and responded, "I want to take a look at the houses. I heard that the properties here are all good." Upon hearing this, Jiang Yin's tone became even more passionate and she said, "Your taste is really amazing. May I ask, sir? What is your surname?" "My surname is Yang." "Okay, Mr. Yang, please move to the VIP reception room and I will introduce our company's real estate situation to you." Jiang Yin warmly invited Yang Yun to sit down in the VIP reception room, and then took out a beautiful real estate brochure to introduce him to various apartment types and preferential policies. Her voice is gentle and pleasant, with a gentle tone that makes people feel very comfortable, which satisfies Yang Yun very much. This is the service attitude of large real estate projects. Mr. Yang, we have many types of apartments to choose from here, ranging from 1 bedroom to 5 bedroom. Each type of apartment adopts the latest design concepts, ensuring living comfort and space utilization. Jiang Yin explained. Yang Yun listened to Jiang Yin's introduction while carefully observing her expression and behavior. He found that Jiang Yin was not only beautiful but also very professional, and knew the characteristics and advantages of each type of apartment at his fingertips. Mr. Yang, this house is one of the popular layouts here. It has a spacious area, elegant decoration without losing luxury, and a very broad view. Moreover, it is located in the center of the community, which is very suitable for successful people like you. Jiang Yin pointed to a picture of a luxurious apartment and said to Yang Yun. Yang Yun carefully looked at the picture of the house and then nodded, indicating that he was very satisfied with the house. He said, "Manager Jiang, can you take me to take a look?" Jiang Yin enthusiastically responded, "Of course, not a problem, Mr. Yang. Please wait here for a moment while I go get my room card." Quickly, Jiang Yin walked back with the room card in his hand. Yang Yun also stood up and followed Jiang Yin's footsteps, sitting in the luxury sedan prepared for him by the sales department. Yang Yun and Jiang Yin got into the car, and the driver drove them to the location of the property. On the way, Jiang Yin warmly introduced the loan policy to Yang Yun. "Mr. Yang, do you want to pay the house price in full or with a loan? If you are considering paying the house price with a loan, we have quite favorable policies for you to choose from." However, Yang Yun shook his head and said, "I don't need a loan, I plan to pay in full." Jiang Yin was taken aback and looked at Yang Yun with some surprise, but then regained her composure. After all, she is professional and cannot lose her composure in front of guests. "Mr. Yang, do you want to pay in full? This will be more convenient and efficient. Mr. Yang really has strong financial resources." In no time, Yang Yun arrived at his destination. He walked into the house, looked around, and had a satisfied smile on his face. As he was about to speak to Jiang Yin, a system beep sounded in his ear. Ding! Purchase a house worth over 10 million yuan. Task completion reward. 30 million in cash. Failure penalty. None. Yang Yun was taken aback for a moment, and then a surprised expression appeared on his face. He turned to Jiang Yin and said, "Manager Jiang, I have decided to buy this house." Jiang Yin clearly couldn't react. As soon as she arrived, Mr. Yang was about to buy a house, but due to professional ethics, she wouldn't question the guests. "Mr. Yang, would you like to reconsider? Would you like to call your wife over and take a closer look?" "No need, take me to handle the procedures." "That's it. I can decide for myself. I'm not married yet." Yang Yun interrupted Jiang Yin's speech, and the temptation of 30 million yuan is much greater than that of a house. Upon hearing Yang Yun's words, Jiang Yin could only follow Yang Yun's instructions, and this order was successful. Her commission was quite high. Jiang Yin brought Yang Yun to the office of the sales department and began to handle the purchase procedures for him. During the process of handling the procedures, Jiang Yin has always been very enthusiastic and thoughtful, providing enthusiastic service and assistance to Yang Yun. Yang Yun also cooperated very well and quickly completed all the procedures and transfer operations. After the successful transfer of 15.8 million yuan, the system sent a prompt to complete the task. Ding! Purchase a house worth over 10 million yuan. Completed, task reward. 30 million in cash. After hearing this, Yang Yun eagerly opened his system panel. Name: Yang Yun, health value. 70% charm value. 60% wisdom value. 60% available cash. 30.5 million. Yang Yun's personal wealth skyrocketed to 30.5 million, and what surprised him even more was that his charm value increased by 10%. Yang Yun certainly knows why the charm value increases. When you can brush more than 10 million, it is definitely full of charm. Chapter 9. Second main task. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. While Yang Yun was still immersed in the joy of soaring wealth, Jiang Yin also completed the procedures for purchasing a house. Mr. Yang, congratulations on becoming our esteemed homeowner, said Jiang Yin warmly, with a smile on her face at all times. Upon hearing Jiang Yin's words, Yang Yun felt a surge of joy in his heart. He smiled and nodded, saying, "Thank you, Manager Jiang." Jiang Yin looked at Yang Yun still scrutinizing pictures of the house and immediately asked, "Mr. Yang, do you need to renovate? I can recommend some decoration companies for you." Yang Yun thought for a moment and shook his head. "No need, Manager Jiang. I think the current decoration is very good and there is no need to make any changes at the moment. If there are any changes needed in the future, I will contact you again." Jiang Yin smiled and nodded at Yang Yun's words, saying, "Okay, Mr. Yang. If you have any questions or need our service in the future, feel free to contact me through WeChat at any time." After speaking, Jiang Yin handed Yang Yun a business card with her contact information and WeChat account written on it. "Okay, no problem. I'll contact you if there's any need in the future," Yang Yun said and walked out of the sales department hall. He planned to go to a nearby mall to buy some daily necessities. He will be moving in tomorrow, and when he buys a new house, he will definitely enjoy it as soon as possible. Just as Yang Yun was driving to the mall, the system suddenly released a new task. Ding! Post the task. Ding! Go to any gym to exercise for at least a month. Task completion reward. 10 million in cash. Failure penalty. None. Upon hearing the sound of the system, Yang Yun was somewhat surprised. He didn't expect the system to release new tasks at this time, especially those related to fitness. "I haven't seen such a task that requires me to exercise since the second one was released." Yang Yun carefully reviewed the introduction of this task, and for the next month, he will be soaking in the gym every day, with a desire to challenge in his heart. It's not difficult to find a gym. After moving to a new home, just find a gym nearby. Without much hesitation, Yang Yun drove directly to a nearby high-end shopping mall. For him at present, budget is no longer a factor to consider. In the process of selecting products, Yang Yun did not consider the price too much. As long as it's what he likes, he can buy it directly and fill in the new home's shipping address. During this period, Yang Yun added her WeChat account to the business card left by Jiang Yin, and quickly passed the WeChat friend verification. "Hello Mr. Yang," Jiang Yin sent a warm greeting. "Manager Jiang, I have something to trouble you with. I have bought a lot of daily necessities here. Can you help me receive them and then place them in my new house?" Jiang Yin replied quickly. "Okay, Mr. Yang, we can help you with this on our end." Yang Yun saw that Jiang Yin agreed, but without hesitation, he transferred the other party a hard work fee of 8,888. After handling these matters, Yang Yun began to search for a gym. In the end, Yang Yun found a large gym in the city center. He walked into the gym and was received by a slim and handsome receptionist. "Hello sir, welcome to our gym. May I help you?" The front desk smiled and said. "Hello, I'm here to apply for a membership card," Yang Yun said. After hearing that they were here to apply for a membership card, the front desk became more enthusiastic and asked, "Okay, sir. Is this your first time applying for our membership card? Do you need our staff to take you on a tour of our gym?" "First, apply for the card, and then take me on a tour," Yang Yun replied. "Then you need to provide your name and contact information, as well as choose a membership package. The front desk took out a form and asked Yang Yun to fill it out. Yang Yun quickly filled out the form and handed it to the front desk. The front desk took the form and glanced at the membership package selected by Yang Yun, appearing a bit surprised. They then respectfully asked, "Sir, are you sure you want to choose this package?" Yang Yun nodded and replied without hesitation, "Yes, just choose this package." Yang Yun chose the most expensive package, with a membership fee of 100,000 yuan per year. The front desk looked at Yang Yun with some surprise upon hearing his words. However, she quickly regained her professional smile and said, "Okay, sir. I will apply for your membership card immediately." With the help of the front desk, Yang Yun spent 100,000 yuan and became a VIP member of this flying gym. After completing the membership card application, a staff member walked over and took Yang Yun on a tour of the gym, introducing him to various fitness equipment. "Welcome to Feixiang Gym, Mr. Yang. I am the business manager here. Just call me Xiao Huang and I will take you to learn about our various fitness equipment and facilities." Manager Huang warmly introduced to Yang Yun. "Nice to meet you." Yang Yun followed Manager Huang into the fitness area and began to understand the various areas of the gym. They first arrived at the strength training area. There are many different dumbbells, barbells, and instruments here that can exercise various parts of the body. Manager Huang introduced Yang Yun to the usage methods and functions of various instruments, giving him a preliminary understanding of this area. Next, they arrived at the aerobic exercise area. There are many treadmills, dynamic bicycles, and elliptical machines here that can meet different aerobic exercise needs. Introduced the usage methods and precautions of these devices, and told Yang Yun that he can exercise according to his own needs. Finally, they arrived at the free training area. There are many free weight training equipment here, such as dumbbells, barbells, kettlebells, etc., which can be freely combined for training. Manager Huang introduced the usage methods and safety precautions of these devices to Yang Yun, and encouraged him to conduct personalized training programs in this area. Yang Yun listened attentively and even asked questions about some unclear points. Manager Huang patiently answered them one by one. Manager Huang looked at Yang Yun and asked with a smile as he understood him well. "Mr. Yang, when do you plan to come to the gym?" "Come tomorrow, there are still some things to handle today." Yang Yun said he will come to the gym tomorrow to start exercising. Manager Huang noticed that Yang Yun is a fitness novice and then asked, "Mr. Yang, are you considering hiring a personal coach? They can provide more targeted and personalized guidance based on your specific situation." After thinking for a moment, Yang Yun replied, "I'll come over tomorrow and take a closer look. If you need it, could you recommend it to me?" Manager Huang nodded warmly to show understanding. "Okay, Mr. Yang. Looking forward to your visit tomorrow. If you have any questions or need help, please feel free to contact me at any time." Manager Huang warmly handed over his business card, and then they agreed to come to the gym tomorrow to start exercising. After a brief farewell, Yang Yun drove away. Chapter 10. Renting, Goodbye, Xiaowo. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yang Yun left the gym and drove back to the small snail house he rented. At this moment, the phone suddenly rang and he received a WeChat call from Jiang Yin. On the phone, Jiang Yin's voice came gently. "Mr. Yang, we have already sorted out your things for you. When will you come and check them?" Yang Yun expressed gratitude to Jiang Yin for this. On the other end of the phone, she suddenly paused and said in a slightly awkward voice, "Mr. Yang, you're welcome. These are all things we should do. However, there is something I want to tell you." Yang Yun asked, "What's going on?" Jiang Yin said, "I'm sorry to take the hard work you gave me. It's my duty to help Mr. Yang handle these things, and I haven't done anything special." Yang Yun was somewhat surprised by this and thought to himself, "Don't even give me money." Of course, Yang Yun couldn't directly say this to Jiang Yin, he was just more satisfied with her service attitude and sense of responsibility. Immediately, with a slight smile, he said to Jiang Yin on the phone. "It's okay, you can rest assured to claim it. I never let anyone help me with my work for free. If you don't claim it, I won't dare to trouble you next time." "Alright, I'm driving here, so I won't say much. Thank you, goodbye." Yang Yun finished speaking and hung up the phone before Jiang Yin could respond. His phone suddenly shook, and he glanced at the screen and found that it was Jiang Yin who received the red envelope he sent on WeChat, and also sent a voice message. He knew without listening that it must be a long thank you and polite message from Jiang Yin. He didn't immediately click on play and continued to focus on driving towards the rental room. Yang Yun looked at the small house in front of him. He had been sheltering him from wind and rain for 3 years, and today he has achieved great success. He is about to leave and move into a new house. "I don't want some old things anymore." He has already bought new essential items, so there is no need to move them over anymore. The main thing is to tidy up clothes and other things. While Yang Yun was busy packing his things, the landlord walked in. Yang Yun had already informed him that he was going to rent out and move to another place today. The landlord knew that Yang Yun was leaving and didn't say much. He didn't know how many tenants he had met in a year like Yang Yun. After inspecting the house and confirming that there were no damages or defects, he readily refunded the remaining rent to Yang Yun. As Yang Yun was about to leave, the landlord accidentally saw his new BMW parked at the door and asked in surprise, "Mr. Yang, is this your new car?" Yang Yun nodded and replied, "Yes, this is what I bought recently." After hearing this, the landlord smiled and congratulated Yang Yun. "Mr. Yang, I really congratulate you." After exchanging a bunch of polite words with the landlord, Yang Yun shook hands and bid farewell to the landlord before driving away from here. Not long after, Yang Yun successfully arrived at the residential area where his new house was located. With the assistance of the property management, he didn't have to do it himself. The property management arranged for staff to help him move things into the new house. This is the benefit of high-end residential areas, as the property management services make people feel at home, which is closely related to the high annual property fees. Yang Yun looked at the brand new house and felt a strong sense of belonging in his heart. He finally found his own home in this city. Who would have thought that a month ago, I was still a three-nose person with nothing? All of this is thanks to the Shenhao system. Recalling the experience of the past month, Yang Yun seemed to be immersed in a magical dream. He was afraid that the dream would suddenly wake up and nothing existed. Yang Yun stood on the balcony, overlooking the night view of the city outside the window, and sighed. This is the significance of people's hard work and hard work. At this moment, Yang Yun seemed to have an epiphany. His ambition swelled, and his current achievements could no longer satisfy him. He had to stand higher. Just as Yang Yun was lost in infinite imagination, the sound of the system came. Ding! Achieve ideological transformation. Reward cash. 10 million yuan. Ding! Publish the task. Within 1 year, establish a company with a member size of no less than 50 people. Task completion reward. 500 million in cash. Failure penalty. None. The continuous prompt sounds from the system surprised and delighted Yang Yun. Fortunately, his wealth is about to skyrocket again, and to his surprise, he has released a task with a high bonus. Yang Yun quickly opened his system panel. Name. Yang Yun health value. 70% charm value. 65% wisdom value. 70% available cash. 40.4 million in Yang Yun's personal wealth has accumulated to 40.4 million yuan in cash, which is a huge amount that even many wealthy individuals may not easily withdraw. Now, this money is quietly lying in Yang Yun's bank account, and there is nothing more shocking than the actual balance in the account. Despite going through a lot, Yang Yun still finds it difficult to remain calm because his speed of acquiring wealth is too fast. When Yang Yun was still in shock, the sound system on his phone rang up and he picked it up casually. The message was sent by Jiang Yin. "Mr. Yang, are you busy?" Yang Yun replied, "No, what's up?" Jiang Yin. "I didn't receive your reply today, so I guess you might be busy." Yang Yun. "Sorry, I was busy moving today and didn't pay attention to the information." Jiang Yin. "Mr. Yang, have you settled down smoothly? If there is anything I can help with, please feel free to let me know." Yang Yun. "I don't need it at the moment. I will let you know as soon as there is anything." Jiang Yin. "Okay, I won't disturb Mr. Yang's rest." After Jiang Yin finished sending this sentence, Yang Yun did not reply to the message anymore. He vaguely felt that the relationship between him and Jiang Yin seemed to be closer. He secretly sighed in his heart, indeed, money is the best coat for men. When you hold a huge amount of wealth, you will truly feel how those once unattainable goddesses will actively approach you now. If it had been a month ago, such a scenario would have been something Yang Yun couldn't even imagine. However, Yang Yun also realized clearly that whether it was Jiang Yin or Su Yuanyuan from the previous BMW 4S dealership, the reason why they kept in touch with him was because of his huge wealth. Su Yuanyuan often takes the initiative to send messages to him asking about the condition of his vehicle usage, but Yang Yun knows well that this is just an attempt to get closer to him, it is a means of getting closer. "Everything is because I have money. If I were penniless, these people wouldn't even look at me." Thinking of this, Yang Yun felt a bit tired, so he decided to take a shower and have a good sleep.